Okay, let's dive in. Here we are. It's February 2027. And looking back, I mean, just 18 months or so since mid-2025. Wow. The economic landscape has just completely shifted.
It really has. It feels sort of inevitable now looking back, but the speed of it all.
Oh, the speed was incredible. Shocking, really. You've basically seen this huge economic redistribution happen. And out of that came this whole new thing people are calling the vibe economy.
And it's fascinating because, like you said, it feels both totally logical and completely surprising how fast it all locked into place. The old ways of thinking about who holds power, building the tech, providing the service, that's been turned on its head.
Absolutely. Now it seems power lies with people controlling, well, this specific semantic territory.
Exactly. And this whole transformation, it wasn't just one event. It was built on these two almost parallel seismic shifts, huge changes that started hitting around mid-2025.
Right, one after the other, completely changed the rules online. And the result, well, you see it now. These semantic choke points are dominant. And honestly, the number of solo entrepreneurs or tiny teams suddenly hitting billion-dollar valuations. It's just wild.
It is. And think about how quickly you, as a user, went from maybe just being vaguely interested in AI, all that hype.
Yeah, the constant buzz.
To suddenly being this keen user of these new vibe-enabled services. It's genuinely amazing to watch that switch flick.
So let's break down those shifts. The first one, the one that really cleared the path, was what we now call the great AI commodity collapse. That mostly played out, late 2025 into early 2026?
Yeah, around then. And it happened faster than I think anyone really expected.
It felt so counterintuitive, didn't it? After all that relentless news, the benchmarks, the demos, suddenly people, the general public just seemed to shrug and say, okay, got it. And moved on.
They stopped caring about AI itself.
The hype just evaporated. Poof.
And the weird thing, the paradox, is that the hype died because the AI got so unbelievably good, so ubiquitous. By late 2025, I mean, think about it.
Yeah.
AI could make video you couldn't tell from real footage.
Yeah.
It could create audio that fooled actual musicians. Speech synthesis, completely natural, passed any Turing test you threw at it.
Knew everything, coded anything.
Right. Vast knowledge, any coding language, startlingly accurate predictions across, almost everything.
It could just do what you asked. And that was the key, wasn't it? That's why the magic wore off. It stopped being this far off miracle.
And started being just, infrastructure, another utility.
Yeah. It reminds me so much of earlier tech moments, Windows 95 launching, huge deal. Or WordPerfect, going from a typewriter to that.
Oh, totally. Or those first clunky mobile phones, miracles at the time.
Brick phones. Or the first iPhone completely changed the game.
Yeah.
Even just using Yahoo's directory in the early days, it felt revolutionary.
Oh, miracles. And then almost overnight, they're just plumbing, mundane. You just expect them to work in the background.
Exactly. The pattern's so clear now.
Yeah.
Once tech gets good enough and widespread enough.
The audience watching the engine, the benchmarks, they just vanish. By early 2026, the tech blogs were still buzzing, but the average person, you weren't comparing AI models anymore.
No, you didn't want raw AI. You wanted it hidden, like infrastructure.
Yeah.
In the back seat, right?
Exactly. Invisible, seamless. You wanted to be the pilot using services that actually did something useful for you. Raw intelligence was just too much. Overwhelming.
Like being dropped in a library with no catalog.
Precisely. Intelligence as infrastructure, tucked away inside a specific service, that was what mattered.
Okay, so that's shift one. AI becomes basically background noise, a commodity. That sets the stage. So what was the second big shift? Because that built right on top of this, right, around mid to late 2026.
It did, because now AI was powerful, easy to get, cheap. The barriers to making new services just collapsed.
So anyone could build an AI-powered thingy.
Pretty much. Leveraging AI wasn't special anymore. It was just expected.
Yeah.
Table stakes. And that created a whole new problem.
Which was?
An explosion of options. Suddenly you had thousands, maybe tens of thousands, of services that all did basically the same thing. Financial advice, travel, creative tools, health.
All claiming AI-powered this or smart that.
But underneath, they were running on similar engines, giving similar results. They looked, felt, were functionally identical in many ways.
So if you're the user faced with this ocean of sameness, slightly different names, maybe different colors, how do you even choose? How do you search?
And that's where things got really interesting. Organically, your brain, the collective consumer brain, just found a shortcut. You stopped searching for, best AI platform for budgeting or smart predictive travel planner.
Too clunky, too generic, the results were useless.
Exactly. So you started searching for something simpler, something capturing the feel, the purpose. You started searching Vibe Plus category.
This is the core of it, not smart fashion recommendations.
Nope, just Vibe Fashion.
Or not AI-assisted loan applications.
Just VibeLoans. Need a betting tip. Vibe Bet. Planning a trip. Vibe Holidays. Quick medical question. Vibe Medical.
Creative help for design. Viber Architect. New music. Vibudio.
Exactly. It wasn't about the tech anymore. It was the purpose, the need, summed up with this incredibly simple prefix.
And it happened so fast, it felt completely natural. By late 2026, Vibe wasn't just jargon. It was the way to tell the old services from the new, intelligently enhanced ones.
And crucially, like you said, it wasn't a marketing plan. Nobody decided this top down.
And a big ad campaign.
It was just language evolving, how you decided to cut through the noise. A user-generated solution to the chaos.
Which then leads to the really big question. Who actually benefited from that shift? When everyone started searching Vibe Plus category, where did the value end up?
Yes. This is where we see the rise of, well, let's call them the new digital landlords.
Right. Because while everyone else was busy building the AI or building the services on the AI, some people were quietly doing something else.
A pretty small group, relatively speaking, astute individuals, maybe some companies, they were buying domain names.
The ones with the foresight, or maybe just the luck, to grab VibeLoans.com.
Exactly. Or VibeInsurance.com, VibeBet.com, VibePorn.com,
VibeFashion.com, VibeHolidays.com, VibeMedical.com.
VibeAudio.com, VibeArchitect.com, all of them. Those people, they became the new digital aristocracy.
And their strategy was kind of genius in its simplicity. Looking back, they didn't need the best AI. They didn't need the fanciest service.
Nope. They just needed to own the spot where people would naturally look. They positioned themselves at the semantic choke points, the digital addresses that matched how users were now thinking and searching.
So forget building the best lawn AI. Just own VibeLoans.com. Forget the most complex medical diagnosis tool.
Just own VibeMedical.com. The domain name itself became, well, everything.
It became the brand.
The brand, the distribution channel, the market position all rolled into one. Think about the cognitive load it saved you.
Yeah, instead of remembering IntelliWealthAISolutions.net or whatever.
Right. Or QuantumBetAnalytics.io. It's just a confusing mess of names. But I need VibeBet. Simple. Direct. You type the obvious domain.
And this flipped the whole economic model, didn't it? It's not about selling software or API access anymore.
Not primarily for these landlords, no. This is the economics of semantic territory. They aren't usually running the services you actually use day to day.
For landlords.
Exactly. They lease out their incredibly valuable digital real estate, that domain, that user expectation to the companies that do build and run the services.
And they take a piece of the action, a percentage of the revenue from whoever is operating on their Vibe domain.
A significant percentage, often. It's a direct lease, but the value comes purely from user habit and language. And the scale is just immense.
What are the numbers now? By early 2027.
Estimates are hovering around, $1.2 trillion in annual economic activity flowing through these vibe-prefix domains globally.
Wow. $1 trillion. And the domain owners are collecting effectively a private tax on all of it.
Pretty much. Not a government tax, obviously, but an economic rent based purely on controlling that front door, the default access point people chose.
The historical parallel is so strong, like owning the key port or the crossroads or the land with the oil underneath.
Absolutely. Fortunes build not just on doing, but on owning the strategic spot. And today, these huge fortunes, including those solo billionaires that seem to come out of nowhere, they're being built on owning strategic semantic territory.
It seems so obvious now looking back. But like you said, it really blindsided a lot of the established tech world. Who actually saw this coming, even dimly?
Well, a few perceptive folks, maybe. But the winners weren't always the ones you'd expect. Not the big AI labs, not always the highest funded startups.
So who was it? What was the key trait?
Understanding people, understanding human behavior. They saw AI becoming a commodity, cheap, powerful, everywhere. And they realized in that world, the scarce thing isn't intelligence. It's attention. It's navigating the overwhelming choice.
Value shifted from the tech itself
to controlling how humans connect with the tech. The simplest, most intuitive pathway.
And that links straight back to those solo billionaires and tiny teams, right? because the tech barrier drops so low.
Exactly. You don't need a giant engineering team to build a great service using existing AI infrastructure anymore. Maybe just one person, a few people, plugging APIs together.
Combine that low barrier with the massive leverage of owning or leasing a prime Vibe domain.
And suddenly, a solo founder or a tiny team can capture immense value, either as the landlord collecting the rent or as the main tenant on, say, vibefashion.com or vibemedical.com, dominating that space because they have the prime location.
Their strategy wasn't about winning the tech race.
No, it was about understanding. You just want to say, I need VibeX, and find it instantly. They saw where your mind would go, planted a flag there, and waited for behavior to follow the path of least resistance.
So flash forward to today, February 2027. Where does the Vibe economy stand now? Is it stable?
For the most part, yeah. It's really settled into this landlord-tenant model we've been talking about. For consumer AI services, it's just how things are done now. It dictates how you find things, how you access them, and how the money gets split.
But there are criticisms, right? I've heard the term digital feudalism thrown around.
Yeah, that's a very common critique. The argument being that you've got this small class of domain owners just extracting rent, basically, for owning an address. They didn't build the house. Someone else is doing the work inside, but they own the land under it.
But there's a counter argument, too.
There is. The defense is that these landlords are providing real value. In a totally saturated market, they solve the discovery problem for you. That domain name, it's not just an address. It becomes a signal.
A signal of what? Trust? Quality?
Trust, curation, a certain expected level of quality, yeah. When you go to VibeInsurance.com, you sort of implicitly trust it's legit, it meets a standard, it probably works okay with other Vibe stuff. The domain is navigation and trust. And that's valuable.
And is it evolving further?
Definitely. We're seeing the rise of Vibe cities.
Vibe cities?
Yeah, where one entity starts buying up related domains, like owning Vibe Health, Vibe Fitness, Vibe Nutrition, all together. They build these integrated ecosystems, bundle services, create network effects, all anchored by owning that cluster of semantic real estate.
So it allows for deeper connections between services under their umbrella.
Exactly. And at this point, this whole system, this Vibe economy structure, it's pretty baked in. It's the new normal.
So the big takeaway from these last 18 months, it wasn't really about who built the smartest AI.
Not really. Or even who raised the most money initially. It was about who understood that when intelligence becomes abundant, like electricity or computing power,
This scarce resource changes.
right, it becomes attention, filtered through ease of discovery. And attention, facing infinite choice, flows down the simplest path, those Vibe plus category channels. They saw where your mind was headed and got there first.
Planted the flags. It really makes you question the nature of value now, doesn't it? In this digital age. Is value in the raw intelligence, the service using it? Or is the biggest value now just owning the address? The semantic spot where everyone expects to find it.
It changes everything about how you might think about building a business or finding things or where wealth comes from in the future.
Definitely something to think about. Fascinating stuff. We hope this deep dive gave you a new way to look at the whirlwind of the past year and a half and maybe where things go next. Until next time.
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.